you know what? Let me pause this for a second because the Lord has given me something before we jump into it. Okay, so when it comes to the kingdom of God, because I have to lay the foundation for this before we jump into it. One thing that you will learn about me as you come to these monthly meetups, as you get to know me, as you get to understand, even in my music and the things that I do, a lot of you guys know me because of music. Some of you guys know me because of fellowship. Some of you guys know me for different reasons. But one thing is, let one thing always be said about me, and that is that I am about the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God, the gospel of the kingdom of God, not the kingdom as a catchphrase, not the kingdom as another word for church, but the government of God that God created, that existed in heaven. And then God actually uses his kingdom. He created the earth to extend his kingdom of heaven through its citizens in the earth. And so in the book of Genesis, when God was in the first chapter of Genesis, when God was actually establishing the earth and speaking different things into position, that was his way of extending the kingdom of heaven to the earth, to another location. Okay. And in doing so, after speaking the world into creation, he also created a little version of himself to have rulership and dominion over that extended area, okay, over that extension of his kingdom. And so that's why Adam and Eve were created. They were created to have dominion. They were created to be fruitful and multiply. They were created to subdue. They were created to do all of those things, and they are the progenitors of creation. So Eve is the mother of creation, and so their blueprint was actually the original purpose for man being placed in the earth, because God wanted to extend his kingdom to a different territory or to a different vicinity. And then he created little versions of himself to keep that kingdom in order, And then we all know, of course, about how the serpent beguiled Eve. God gave them instructions about what trees they could eat from, except from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which I don't think he was going to withhold from them forever. I just think that there was an appointed time that they were to eat from that tree. But the enemy tricked them into thinking that God didn't want them to be like him. When in Genesis 1:26 and 28, he said out his mouth, "Let us make man in our image and in our likeness." So he tricked Eve into thinking she had to go outside of herself to get what was already on the inside of her. Amen. So just briefly, I just wanted to tap on that for just a second so that you guys understand.